to NNC. New measurements have turned out to be relevant for the Baltic Sea. Alarming discoveries have been found recently. Every year, almost 1 million tons of nitrogen and more than 30,000 tons of phosphor get dumped into the Baltic Sea. There are more than 85 million people living around the drainage area, and more than 55 million people resides near the coast or streams which flows into the sea. The movie Our Filthy Sea from 2011, made by Folke Rydén and Ulrika Björksten, is nowadays current again. Our field reporter Alex Karlström is located at the west coast of Gotland and has spoken with a marine biologist. Leonora, what is it that affects the eutrophication in the Baltic Sea?
The reason why eutrophication emerges is due to an excess in nutrient salts.
So how does the nutrient salt affect the ocean? What happens?
The nutrient salts are nutrition for the plankton in the ocean. When there is a lot of nutrition, the number of plankton will rise and the algal blooms will appear. These huge sums of plankton will decrease the ocean's transparency, and this leads to disturbance in the photosynthesis. The photoeutrophic will only exist at the surface, which will increase the number of animals above the seawater transparency. This whole situation will leave the bottom in lack of oxygen and make the organic material hard to decompose. And because of this, layers of sedimentation will develop at the bottom. The layers of sedimentation could lead to an increase in hydrogen sulfide, and this will wipe out all the bottom animals.
Where does the nutrient salts come from?
The most of the nutrient salts that are up in the ocean comes from animal and human feces. The feces could also be used as fertilization of arable land, but most of it gets dumped into the Baltic Sea. The global increased traffic has led to a constant growing emission of nitrogen oxides, which has an eutrophic effect on lakes and seas.
Thank you, Leonora. Back to the studio. A meat consumption expert is here with me in the studio. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you.
New studies have shown that the meat consumption has increased lately. How does this affect the eutrophication in the Baltic Sea?
Well, as we humans consume more meat, and especially pork, the request for meat gets larger. The pig needs food, which results in increased feces. And some studies have shown that a pig emits 3 times more feces than a human being, and almost all of this gets dumped into the Baltic Sea. And seeing as feces contains a lot of nutrient salt, which is the biggest cause to eutrophication, we are still continuing to affect the Baltic Sea in a bad way.
So what happens if we consume more meat than we actually need?
You see, when the production of organic material exceeds the normal consumption in the system, then the excess material will not decompose, and large prefrontal areas would then be exposed to lack of oxygen, and the bottom animals decrease in number.
What can we do about this problem?
Well, we can try to buy ecological meat and meat produced in the area around, instead of buying meat from a country that doesn't manage to meat in a clean way and dumps the feces into the sea.
Okay, thank you, Alan. That was all from this evening's show. Next program is tomorrow about environmental toxins.